Hello everyone. So we have 5 students from TISS ODCL and here they are to explain you what it is and who can apply for the course and each and everything about the course. So here we will have first a brief introduction about them, those students, and then they are going to take questions one by one. So yeah, Ashwin, you can start.
Sure, sir. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us on behalf of TISS MA ODCL program. So I'll just give a brief introduction about myself. I'm Ashwin. I'm from Chennai, Tamil Nadu. I am an engineer. I completed my BE in Electronics and Instrumentation from Anna University. From there on, I went to work with Fidelity Investments as a network engineer for a period of 4 years. And post which I've joined the Tata Institute of Social Sciences for the ODCL program.
Okay, then Chhavi, go on.
Hello everyone, good evening. So it's really nice to see you after quite a while. So I'll just give a brief introduction about myself. My name is Chhavi Dhariya. I was born in Haryana and brought up in Chandigarh. I'm a 2016 Electronics and Communications Engineering graduate from Thapar University, Patiala. Post that, I joined SBI as a probationary officer in the batch of 2016. So I have a total of like 5.5 years of work ex in State Bank of India. And post that, I'm here and pursuing my ODCL, like MA from ODCL program.
Okay, so Megharanjani, can you speak next?
Yes, sure. Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. I'm Megharanjani. I was born in Kolkata, West Bengal, and brought up in a lot of different places growing up. And I did my BTech in Instrumentation and Electronics Engineering from CET Bhubaneswar. And post that, I worked in the manufacturing industry. I was with Tata Steel for close to 3 years. And after that, I joined this ME ODCL course at TISS. So that's about me.
Okay, David, go on.
I'm David Siram. I'm from Arunachal Pradesh, and I've done my graduation in journalism and mass communication. And I work for a company called Prime Focus Technologies. It is into media and entertainment. I have a total work experience of 5 years and 8 months with that company. And now I'm pursuing this course MA ODCL from TISS.
Okay, then Akcchit, go on.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having us here. My name is Akcchit, and I am a commerce graduate from Sri Venkateswara College, Delhi University. Post completion of my graduation, I have worked with Ernst & Young for a period of close to 3.5 years. And yeah, currently I'm enjoying my stay at TISS ODCL.
Okay, so the first question is, what is ODCL course and why this ODCL is unique? So I would like Ashwin to start with this particular thing. Yeah.
Sure, sir. So ODCL, as an abbreviation, has 3 components to it. OD stands for Organization Development. The C stands for Change, Change Management, and L stands for Leadership. So as such, we have had a very complex and dynamic changing business environment nowadays, and organizations are constantly having to change from a people perspective and from a process perspective as well, constantly. And ODCL as a program aims to create professionals like us who would be able to build resilient organizations. One, by focusing on developing the potential of people. 2, to also redesign and transform organizations to stay resilient and relevant in the market. So that's the organization development part of it. And change management is a component of the ODCL, the OD cycle as such, wherein generally when we mobilize people through changes, handling their emotions and developing communication strategy while we mobilize people through changes is an important aspect towards any changes any organizations takes. So that's the change management component of it. And finally, the leadership. All of us know that leadership is the core which holds all of the values of an organization together. And that's where the leadership component of it comes in. So that's in general about what ODCL is. And what is so unique about ODCL is it is India's first and only program which is focused on which has such a niche focus. And when we come to how the course as such, how the program as such is designed, we have 4 fieldwork internships, and each internship we would be focusing on working in different sectors. For example, we have completed our first fieldwork internship in the manufacturing sector, and in the second internship, we'll be going to the social sector. So diverse industry experience is something that our program offers. We have along with these 4 field internships, we have a summer internship as well. And also many of you would have seen about the human interaction lab in the TISS page, and that's a unique feature that we have. And it's something that no college as such offers to understand ourselves much better when we work in groups. So these are some of the aspects of the ODCL program that's very unique, and that's one of a kind in the whole country.
Okay, Akcchit, now would you like to add something to whatever Ashwin said?
Sure, sir. So I think Ashwin, that was beautifully explained, how the course is and what are its unique features. One thing that I would want to bring up, and that would be very important from an aspirant point of view. A lot of times I've heard that OD is a new course, but when we talk about the roots of OD, it goes back till the World War II. So that is where it started emerging. So it was a field which is very, it has a very diverse research body, and there are a lot of theories, and it's a complete research prospect exists in OD. It was just that the industry has started realizing its importance primarily during the COVID time, because that posed a lot of different kind of challenges to the business. So I think it's just that it has stayed there for a very long time. It has a history of close to 90 years, but it's just that in the business domain, it's gaining its traction at a very fast pace in the current days.
Okay, so I would also like to speak about the same thing. Actually, what has happened recently is the business dynamics has changed because of coming up a lot of new things, new development which has happened. We can see the best example in what happened to Nokia. Nokia was a household name, and then it was totally replaced after coming of smartphone. So because they were not able to understand what change was going on and how Android became, how important the Android thing was. And it is also important because the change, whatever change you want to bring in organization or the process are important. And then new technology, coming up new technology, and also there are companies which are doing a lot of mergers and acquisitions. So which merger one should go for, which acquisition one should go for, and which is beneficial, because all the mergers acquisitions are not beneficial. You might have heard about Nokia and Microsoft. So what happened to that? Okay, it was not beneficial. But when you come to Facebook acquiring WhatsApp or Facebook acquiring Instagram, it was quite beneficial. So that is why the companies of today and the companies of Argon era are quite different. Here lot of dynamic things are there. That is why this particular field is going to stay for a while and going to emerge rather, I would say. And then the next question is, I would ask to Megharanjani to explain how many number of seats are there in your course.
Yes, sir. So, sir, the tentative batch intake is 34 students. In last year, around 38 students were accepted into the program.
Okay, and apart from that, there is one more question. So, what is the average age? So, average age is a difficult thing to say, but there will be diversity. I think there will be diversity of age as well. Can you speak about that?
Yeah, absolutely, sir. Sir, I have classmates who are some 24, 25 years of age, as well as I have some friends who are 31 or 32. So it's a very diverse batch that way. And the average age stands at around 28 or 27. So that's about it.
Okay. So Ashwin, one more question we have. How the course is different from HRM?
Sir, so HR as a program, if we see, aims to build professionals who would be supporting the employee throughout their life cycle in an organization, starting from workforce planning, talent acquisition, orientation and onboarding, learning and development, performance management, compensation and benefits, employee relations, legal and compliance, and their exit. So if we see this entire life cycle of an employee, the HR program aims to build professionals who would learn a lot in detail about each of these functions throughout the course of their program. Whereas OD, as we had already mentioned, aims to create resilient organizations as organizations, the people in them, the process in them transform from one state to another to stay resilient and relevant in the market. So that's how HR is different from OD.
Okay, Akcchit, would you like to add something?
Yeah, sure, sir. So as Ashwin mentioned about, the people side, which is basically the HRM process. The unique part of the ODCL course is that, you get to experience not just the HR domain, you can also get roles wherein you're actually working with people from finance, marketing, and all other such, and also operations, wherein we are basically concerned about process improvisations, project improvisations. So I think while HR is only focused on the people side of the business, the OD's main objective is organizational as well as the keeping the employee at the center. So we continuously try to improve and develop the employees so that they help us in continuous development of the organization. So that is how I think the span of OD is greater than that of HR.
Okay, so Megha, now tell me, what is the criteria for applying? Who can apply, who cannot?
Right.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so like the other MA courses that TISS has to offer, there's a requirement for a bachelor's
Nice.
degree of a minimum of 3 years duration with an aggregate of a minimum of 50%. Apart from that, there is an exclusive criterion for the course of ODCL, and that is a minimum of 2 years of full-time working experience. And that is as of 1st May 2023. And this work experience has to be full-time. It can't be part-time, and it cannot be freelancing. And there has to be valid proof in the form of pay slips or experience certificates.
And I have graduated from a arts background, non-technical background. So I believe non-technical backgrounds are allowed. Yeah.
So there's no preference given to any background or any sector per se. Yeah, so as long as the work is full-time work and there is proper like experience certificates, pay slips, and offer letters. These are some of the documents to prove the validity of their candidature.
Okay, there is one more question that I have experienced 7 years plus of experience in government job. So will they have an upper hand in the selection process? So I believe it all depends upon the first round, which is TISSNet, and the next round, which is your extempore and OPI. How you perform there, that will decide your fate. Okay, so having asked this question, let me ask the next one, which is, what is the selection process of TISS? So basically, TISSNet process is the first process. If you have the experience criteria fulfilled, that is, if you have 2 years of experience, you can apply for this course. You will have to first take your TISSNet. TISSNet is an examination where you will have 100 questions altogether, 40 of GK and 30 each of Quant and English. Now, TISS, as far as I know the pattern last year, they will provide you a level playing field in English and mathematics. So no matter you are from arts or you are from engineering, the questions will be such that there will be a level playing field. Now, the main deciding factor here will be your GK. The GK is quite tough, okay, at times. So there is a cutoff marks for GK, only GK, that is 14 marks for general. So you will have to score above the cutoff, then only you will qualify. And then you will have to score above the cutoff. The cutoff marks for ODCL, I think this year was 63, I guess. Okay, 63. So it may vary depending upon the level of, or whether the question is easy or hard. Now, if you score a better marks in the TISSNet round, suppose the cutoff is 63 and you are getting 73, then you will have extra edge over other people. Why? Because 50% of the weightage of whatever you score in TISSNet is taken in your final selection thing. That is why TISSNet is very crucial. After qualifying for TISSNet, what happens is extempore and there will be OPI. Everybody will have to sit for extempore. A separate extempore will have, just before the OPI, you will have extempore and you will have OPI thing. Suppose you have applied for 3 courses, there will be 3 extempore and 3 OPIs for different courses. Now, I would like to ask you people some experience of how this second round was. So, Ashwin, you can start, then Akcchit, then Chhavi. Okay.
Sir, if you permit, I just had one thing to add in the selection process. I think we missed out the DAF part, which is the detailed application form. So basically, yes, sir.
That happens after the selection in TISSNet. So you can start from there.
Yes, sir. So if I have to explain what the process is about, so it's basically a form which consists of 5 questions, and those 5 questions are very self-reflective, and it talks about your opinion about your own life, how you can add to the course, and what has your experience been. So the questions revolve around those, and it's mostly inward looking. So the candidates need to introspect. And since the interview is also driven in the direction of the DAF, since the interviewers carry it while the interview goes on, so it is very advisable that aspirants take out enough amount of time to think about the answers and only try to project their true self in the best possible manner.
Yeah, Ashwin, you can go with your experience of next round.
Yes, sir. So the next round had 2 parts to it. The first is extempore section, in which you would be given a topic, and we should be speaking about it for 3 minutes. 1 minute for gathering our thoughts on the spot, and 3 minutes to speak about it. So in general, the topics would vary from anywhere from general socio-political topics to topics related to environment, and many topics in general, to sometimes our program related topics as well. Not very detailed topics, but some surface level understanding is expected from the extempore for us. And the next part is the personal interview. The personal interview is completely a section wherein they try to understand what's the motivation for us in pursuing this program after having a work experience of 3, 4, or 5 years, or whatever it may be. So it generally revolves around understanding our personal motivation, what efforts we have taken to understand the program of study as such, the OD, the change management section as such. They have given us 5 books on the website, which all of us can go through to understand the subject in detail. So that's about the interview, and it's a completely personality test kind of a thing, and not a technical interview as such. So there's nothing to worry about if we do not have a lot of clarity related to the program and its future prospects. It's all about our motivation and our basic understanding of the program.
Okay. So Chhavi, you can add, then David, you will share your experience. Yeah, go on, Chhavi.
Yes. So basically for the second round of the process of TISSNet, so one was the extempore and the interview. So as far as I remember, I think my extempore topic was something around climate change. So not at all related to any of the management subjects. And I think it requires a lot of quick thinking, and like whatever work I did with sir and with his practice, I was able to come up at the moment and really speak up. So one is that, and just immediately after the extempore, the interview began. As Ashwin pointed out, like we were asked like whether we had read any of the books, and basically spoke about one of the books that I had read, and there were a few questions around change models, and then just the transition, and then why ODCL. So this is something that they are really looking for, like why this particular program, to judge that how much of a good fit will I be in the course. So that was it. But the interviews are very friendly, so all that is taken care of. Yeah, that's so.
David, so you can share your experience of next round.
Yeah, so in the next round, as everybody has said, that the first round is about extempore. So my topic was about gig economy. There was a question which said, gig economy cannot have a future. Do you agree? or not. And I have to speak on that for 3 minutes. So I think the purpose of extempore is to see the candidate's thought process and how well the candidate is able to articulate his thoughts. And when it comes to the interview process, there were a lot of questions regarding my work experience, and also I got some situational based questions. So one should be prepared for those questions as well. They might give you some scenario, and you have to come up with your views or your opinions or your solutions. So yeah, so one thing that that really helped me was initially I used to have a lot of hesitancy speaking in public, and with Prateek sir's classes, I've attended a lot of his classes, and there were some clubhouse activities, and I used to listen to people who are speaking. I also participated in a few of those sessions, and it really helped me in breaking that hesitancy within me. And I would encourage all the aspirants to go for it, to speak up whenever you get chance to speak. It will really help you in articulating your thoughts.
Okay, Megharanjani, second round experience.
So from my experience, I think the extemporary topics can be anything under the sun. It can be any socio-political topic. It can be topics that are relevant in the business world, or it can be something absolutely abstract as well. So I think good extemporary practice is really required, because it does not depend on the topic alone, but also on the confidence and the clarity of thought that the student has in that moment of time. So I joined Prateek sir's classes after my testnet, and initially I was very clueless about how to go forward with the preparation for the second round. And I remember going through a lot of extemporary clubhouse sessions, and that really helped me gain ideas about the various possible topics. Not just that, but also to gain the confidence to talk in front of people that I have never met before. So that is one thing. And apart from that, I think my friends have explained the process beautifully. And in my case as well, during the personal interview, it mostly surrounded around my work experience. Since I have work experience in the manufacturing industry, most of my questions and were around that. And there was the main question I think that I tried to gauge was what motivated me to go ahead in this direction, because it was a complete shift from a technical line to a field like ODCL. So I think that is one question that is very primary to the preparation when it comes to interviews.
Okay, David and Ashwin, you will tell us about Human Interaction Lab. What is Human Interaction Lab?
Okay. As a student of ODCL, we always talk about change and implementation of change. So human interaction is nothing but the driving force behind breaking down barriers and speeding up the change process. So Human Interaction Lab gives us the first-hand experience of that. So it highly focuses on using use of self as an instrument of change, and the sessions, the experiments that are being conducted in the sessions, it really plays a major role in challenging participants' emotional intelligence, and enables them to think critically and be more self-aware. So so yeah, that's what I can share as of now, because if I talk in details about the process and the sessions, it might look like I'm just giving you spoilers, and it might just ruin the experience of the next batch. So it is something that each and every aspirant, each and every ODCL student should look forward to, because the learnings from it will stay with you forever. It will just stay with you. It will help you, grow personally and also professionally. So it is something that you should look forward to because it makes our course very unique. So so yeah, I cannot just give out the details as of now. I'm so sorry because I don't want to ruin the experience of the next batch, but it is something that you should look forward to.
Okay, Ashwin, would you like to add something?
I think David gave a very detailed, as much as possible, explanation about Agile. But I would say, in simple terms, it's a place, it's a lab where we become more self-aware about how our thoughts, our words, and our actions impact the people around us when working in teams, and how we experience certain actions, thoughts, and words from others in the group, and how our feelings and emotions take us through in our journey of working with teams, and a lot of intra and interpersonal reflections as well. So that's in brief about what HIL is. And again, as David mentioned, it's a unique experience that everyone should look forward to. And we do not want to reveal the mystery as such.
Okay, so now the next question is, I would like Akcchit to start this. What are the field works and internship which you do?
Yeah, so as we talked about in the basic introduction that, a student of ODCL gets to take part in 4 fieldworks, which is a 1-month process, and then leadership as a service, wherein we go ahead and work in social sectors for, again, 1 month. And then there is summer internship. So that kind of makes it to 6 exposures that we get to, kind of experience the first-hand things, in the corporate world as well as the social world. So if we talk about the fieldworks, it is so beautifully designed that a student gets not just to experience one particular domain, but it is equally divided. So if we talk about fieldwork 1, which is about going to a manufacturing industry and learning about the processes there, then we would have in a similar fashion in the fieldwork 2, 3, and 4, we would be allocated roles, different roles like marketing intern, finance intern, HR intern. So these are the different domains that we get exposure to. Then if we talk about the summer internship process, I think Chhavi would be able to guide us through, what are various roles that are offered and all the placement related queries. But also, I think it is so that's about the fieldworks.
Chhavi, go on.
Yes. So first I'll speak about these field works because I think that is in itself a unique proposition that TISS has to offer. Talking about myself personally, like sir is also aware that I had offers from FMS, I am Calcutta, I am Kozhikode, I am Lucknow. But I always wanted to come to TISS, and I think fieldwork was one of those things that I could not probably get to experience anywhere else. And this is what actually made me choose TISS over any other B school, and in particular the TISS ODCL program. So basically for the fieldworks, like for example, we are sent out, as Akcchit rightly said, to different industries, and we have continuing like internships in very good brands such as Shell, Johnson & Johnson, Crompton, Reckitt, Nestle. And I think that provides a very unique perspective. And for me personally, because like the entire month of November, which was the last month of our first semester, it was blocked for field internship. And I think it was a very unique experience because we get to be there, we get to observe the practices while not really being part of the organization. So it's such a unique experience. It gives an insight into the organization, into a different kind of culture itself. So that was it about fieldwork.
Okay, Megha, would you like to add something to the same fieldwork and internship?
Yes, sir. So as Chhavi rightly mentioned, it's a very unique idea because we are not exactly part of the organization, but at the same time, we are continuously in touch with them. We are working with them. We often work on live projects. Most of us had projects that were already part of their planning, and we worked on these projects with the existing teams. And there is so much to learn when it comes to live projects. So I think that helps build our idea on the different functions, the different verticals that these organizations have. And most of us, my entire batch is very diverse, and we've come from very different backgrounds. I have a friend who's from army. I have a friend who was earlier working with the Indian government ministry, and I have friends from very different backgrounds. So us getting to learn in these organizations how the work is done, I think that is a very special thing for us, and we're really looking forward to the rest of our
Okay.
field internships.
Okay, Ashwin, go on and explain, what sort of roles, future jobs you can get after doing ODCL.
Right. So basically, for the summer internship that was concluded last year, the highest stipend was, I'll begin with some of the figures. So the highest stipend was 3.50 lakhs. The mean stipend was 1.54 lakhs, whereas the median stipend was 1.25 lakhs. I believe the median stipend will give you a good idea about where the stipend figures lies. And basically the roles offered or the kind of projects that the students did, they were very diverse and very relevant to the current business scenario, such as change management, human resources, learning and development. HR analytics is again a very upcoming field, digital transformation. And now these are some of the projects that also become great talking points in the final placements, for example. So for these, all these things were there basically. And as you mentioned, like we have continuing industry partners who have been regular recruiters and they participate every year in the course, such as Coca-Cola, Dr. Reddy's, Accenture Strategy, Fidelity Investments, P&G, Microsoft, AB InBev. So that was pretty much about the summer placement. And Ashwin, we can move on to the finals. Yeah, so basically, one is that I'll cover about the final placement, because I also see a lot of questions about like what sort of roles do we get post this course. So majorly like the job role fit which would be there, it would be around corporate HR, perhaps the role of an HRBP. Then again in the field, in the domain of HR, learning and development specialist, HR analytics, because we've also had projects in that domain. So any roles around HR analytics, change management is a major part of our course. So any roles around OCM, organization change management, and change specialist, workforce transformation, and as well as consulting. Because we even have courses which are specific to our course. Basically, we have certain subjects which enable us to be fit for all these job roles. And again, just throwing some lights on the industry partners that we've had, Accenture Strategy, LTI, Pidilite, PwC, Shell, VI. And again, some of the figures from last year were that basically the highest package was 42.09 lakhs. The average was 25.40 lakhs per annum, and the median was 24 lakhs per annum. So you can pretty much see the other sort of, and the prior work ex as well, you can see over here. So this will give you a good idea of where you will be probably post 2 years of this program.
So the next question is, how is the campus life? What is library facility? We have heard a lot. And what are other fun activities, etc. So David, you can speak and then others can speak. David,
Yeah.
what's your take on campus life?
So when we talk about life in TISS, first thing that you would see is the diversity among students, and which actually provides a great opportunity for all of us, because it gives us an opportunity of global cultural exchange. I'm not talking about students from all over India. There are students from different countries as well. So you can interact with them, you can learn from them. There's so many different groups that really looks after the inclusivity in the campus. For example, for LGBTQ people, we have a group called Queer Alliance Group. They keep on conducting some activities. They talk about issues related to LGBTQ plus students. We have gender neutral hostels. We have a peer support group where you can participate and be an apprentice, where you can learn so much about students, your friends in the group. Basically, it helps you to stay more healthy, like mentally. And if you're going through a lot in the campus, emotionally draining, these kind of activities really help you. There are lots of animals that you would see, especially cats, and we do have animal care club for them. So We have people who join the club and they take care of the animals as well. You'll see a lot of greenery. TISS actually has two campuses, old campus and a new campus. We have an amphitheater where most of the functions take place. We have two dining halls. We have a library where you can just go sit, whenever you want. You can go there, sit down, study, do your project, do your assignments. We also have Wi-Fi connectivity there. And yeah, that's about it actually.
Apart from that, I think, yeah, so personally, I'm a sports enthusiast. So there are a lot of opportunities for that. We have a gymkhana where we have, we have a gym, we have badminton court, a wooden court with that, and we have a table tennis setup and carom, other arrangements as well. And apart from that, there's volleyball and yeah, basketball court. So yeah, all kind of sports basically. So that is one thing. And apart from that, I think David pretty much covered almost everything. And there are these different clubs that keep on organizing different, like there are a lot of celebrations around some specific public holidays or some specific festivities. And yeah, that is also a part of the discussion.
So I would like to add one more point. If you are from someone from Northeast, we do have like groups like Mosaic, so which handles the cultural activities conducted by the Northeastern student unions and TISS. And like next month we are going to have something. It's called Mosaic Festival. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of activities that keeps on happening in the campus. Talk about festivals, talk about any student-related events. So yeah, so it's a very live campus, you can say.
Yeah, I think thanks, David, for talking about that. Just a last point. I think we have talked a lot about the life at TISS. But even if we go apart from the recreational part of it, if we talk about intellectual events that happen, so I think it is a continuous affair at TISS. Each and every day you get at least 2 mails wherein a reputed speaker is talking about sensitive issues and the latest issues that are taking around the world, and those are people who have maybe have experience of more than 25 years or so. So it's really glad to listen to them, and also at the same time very informative. So on the intellectual part as well, TISS has a lot to offer.
Okay, so now we'll take the doubts, but before the doubts, I would like to, you guys can share the experience. I would start from Ashwin. Whatever experience you had with us, you can share that, and then Chhavi, and then David and Megha will follow.
Sure, sir. So I enrolled for Prateek sir's GK program last year, basically for this year's preparation. So I remember, so this was my third attempt at getting into TISS, and I remember for the second attempt, I was watching his videos on YouTube in 2x just to gather some content in the last 2 days. But then when I was not able to make it through in my second attempt, and when I decided that I will definitely be going for a third attempt, it was a no-brainer for me, because I realized the quality of content that he puts out there, and he truly democratizes education as he always vouches for. So I reached out to him personally, and he was there throughout. The consistency is key. That's Prateek sir's motto. He always stresses on it, and it definitely helped throughout. So there is absolutely no question of the quality of the content that he puts out. It's definitely the best out there, and he has really guided me to where I am today. And he was there for the interview and the extempore part as well for me. So thank you, sir. I would like to use this forum to thank you so much. And all the very best to all the aspirants as well. Patience is key, and if you work hard, put in your genuine interest and show passion, doors are always open at TISS.
Okay, Chhavi, you can go on.
Yes, I was eagerly waiting for this question. Really wanted to share my journey with you. So I reached out to sir sometime in the month of November, and I was looking at different colleges. I wanted to do my MBA. So came across TISS, I was really keen on joining TISS. And I think the moment that I searched for TISSNet, sir's coaching was something that really shined through. And I signed up for basically all the courses, so the entire course combined. And I think the best thing about sir's coaching is that he not just provides that sort of a support, because I remember one particular day I was calling him and I was feeling like, sir, will I be able to make it? Is my work ex relevant? And I remember that him really lifting me up and, encouraging me that, you know what, you got this, just go through this. And he was really encouraging and very motivating throughout the journey. And I think basically, so the entire preparation from November till the day that I have joined TISS, I was in touch with him constantly. And I think the best part about how the course is designed is that it's designed in a very concise manner, because GK especially is such a subject which is so vast. It's not possible to consume it all. So because I was continuously working alongside preparing, and it was already very hectic. So I didn't used to get a lot of time for self-study, but just attending the classes regularly, the morning sessions, the evening sessions, and the clubhouse sessions eventually. That really helped. Sir even helped me with my other, because I had calls from IIM Ahmedabad, I had calls from IIM Bangalore. He helped me with their VAT PI. He took a mock PI, remember, for even IIM Ahmedabad, like the interview a day before. And I said that, the entire course really helped to perform well. And I was able to convert very good colleges because of that. So I think sir has been very instrumental in my journey. I always, I think I'll be forever indebted for that. So thank you, sir. And all the best to all the aspirants as well. I think if you are here and if you've enrolled in sir's coaching, you are in the right place. And if you put in your sincere efforts, definitely.
Yeah, David, go on.
So, first of all, I'm really thankful to sir, because sir has been there from day one. Actually, I remember the year 2020, August 2021, I think June or I don't remember the exact month, but I remember reaching out to sir through one of my friend, and the moment I spoke with sir, he motivated me a lot, because I was really confused about whether I should go for it or not. So he has been there from day one. I was really nervous about my GK preparation, GK and quant mostly. I thought I'm good at English, but then after studying and continuing the process of coaching, I learned that there are so many things that I don't know even in English section. So sir has been there throughout the journey. The journey has been very enriching and encouraging, uplifting for me actually, because I had a lot of self-doubts. And whenever I reach out to sir, he was there. He always pushed me. He always made me believe in myself. I still remember after TISSNet, I immediately called sir because I was not really happy with my performance. I immediately called sir and I told him that my TISSNet, I don't think I'll qualify. I don't think I'll get through the next round. And sir asked me to believe in myself and start preparing for the next round. And I listened to him. I took some time, to just calm myself. And then within 2 days, I started preparing for the next round with sir, obviously, with his clubhouse sessions. And he has been there throughout the journey, even in the OPI, the mock interviews, extempore practices, everything sir has been there. And I'm really thankful. The entire journey has been really fruitful for me, and I hope that all of you who are there under sir's coaching, I think you will be able to crack it if you just follow what sir tells you to do.
So first of all, I'll start by saying that during the entire process, you had more faith in me than I had in myself. I remember I came to you after clearing my TISSNet exam. And at that point, it was my first attempt. So I was extremely confused about how to go ahead with my preparation. And like my other friends, some of my other friends, I was also working at that point, and I was in the manufacturing industry. So it was already very draining, and I was always short on time. I was not able to take out enough time, and I was not sure where to focus my efforts on. And that's when I came across Sir's coaching class, and I just wish that I had met him before my TISSNet actually, but that's another story. But yes, so after clearing TISSNet, once I met Sir, I think he was always there throughout the entire journey. He was there when there were multiple revisions of DAF, like the detailed application form. There are multiple doubts that came up in the different topics that we were studying and trying to understand. And since it was my first attempt, I was not very clear about the entire process, but he was always there to just ask me to chill and take it easy and focus my efforts on what was important. And I think, yeah, he was a very big part of my journey, and
Okay.
I'll always be thankful to him for that. Yeah.
So thanks all. Now we'll take some other questions, which are general questions. So there is one question by one individual. He says that my academic records are not that good in 11th, 10th and 12th. So is it going to affect in any way? I think if you are through with the criteria which is given, I don't think that it will become a big issue. Quota, is there a quota? Yes, there will be a quota, the similar quota which happens in the every other examination, that will be there. Okay. And then, yeah, go on other questions. You can type the questions now so that other people can see and answer your questions. What is TISSNet cutoff of OBC category? See, as I told you, that the cutoff is going to be on the higher side. Number one, don't aim at cutoff, aim at something beyond cutoff, because that is going to help you. It may vary from time to time.
So if I may add, so last time I saw a question about the OBC category. So for last time, for the open category, the cutoff for ODCL program was 53, and that for the OBC category was 57. Someone has asked, 3 years of experience is enough. Yes, the minimum criteria is of 2 years. So 3 years experience is enough. Having said that, there is no preference that is given to people who have higher number of years in the work experience or a lower number. That does not matter, because even in our batch, we have people who have just had exactly 2 years of experience. And there are people who have had 6 or 7 years of experience even. So there will be no preference based on that, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah. Also, there was one question which was about people from the technical background. Do they have any advantage, or people from non-technical have any disadvantage? So I think that is not the case when we get shortlisted for companies, and the process is pretty much equal for every one of us. And since we have a class wherein we have got people from non-tech background, me personally coming from a commerce background, and there are also people who come from research background. So I think it's equal for all of us, and the opportunities are open for everyone to apply. So no issues in that.
So there is one question: if I have a bad academics, is it going to affect during placement? So I believe the placement happens depending upon the company. The criteria are set by the HR of the company, and according to that it happens. Okay, so that is totally subjective. The main roles which I know is a change management consultant, OD consultant. These are some other roles.
See a question. Yes, I can see a question. But how did I answer the question in an interview, perhaps, that why I wanted to switch from a government organization? So I think this was one of the one of a very key question, because it could be like a make or break question if I'm not able to justify that. So basically the question about, like, when I was asked in the interview about why did I switch from SBI to MA, now pursuing my education, or perhaps wanting to switch to a corporate sector. So I think that this was one of the key questions, because it could be like a make or break in an interview if one is not able to convince the panelists. And the panelists are very, very experienced. They can really see through whether you're really being authentic with your answers or not. So I think that what I had answered was what was really on my mind, that I knew that being in a bank, for example, I had more of a generalist sort of a job role. But I knew that my skill set lies more in the people and the processes, the strategy part of it. And for that, one is that I needed formal education. And secondly, I think that peer-to-peer learning is something that I could not have possibly achieved. So it was more or less like my answer was based around that.
Okay, so there is another question which I would like to ask. The question says that I have gap in experience. I have 2 years of experience, but there are gaps. So anybody can take this question. If you have gap, suppose 2 years of gap is there, and then you have 2 years of experience. Does the gap year matters? Ashwin, you can take.
Yes, sir, sure. So the gap years do not matter as long as we are able to justify why we took a break. For example, it could be for any personal reasons. It could be for pursuing government examinations. It could be any reason. But also what we did in the gap year really matters. For example, we could have done a certification program, a certification course from reputed institutions. So if we are able to justify why we took that gap and what we actually did in that gap, then we should not worry about gap years affecting our selection as such. Because TISS as an institute is very open to people with diverse experiences, and it is never a disadvantage if we are able to justify it to the fullest. So it does not affect. And one more thing, an engineer entering to ODCL, how can I justify it in an interview? So do not think about competing with others. Think from a perspective of being an absolute. We are who we are, and everyone's experience is unique. So as we had mentioned earlier, why ODCL is the most important question that you should sit and answer for yourself, in respect as to what you would, how you would want yourself to be, where you would want yourself to be at the end of 2 years, what kind of roles you would like to take. So because competition is something that's not in our hands, it's an external factor which we never have any control on. So control what we can control, and that is making our experience relevant, our experience meaningful, and how we perceive ourselves and how we would like to see ourselves in the future at the end of the program. So do not really worry about competition. It's all absolute, and your experience is unique. And one more thing, an engineer entering into ODCL, how can I justify it in an interview? Again, if you work, for example, I was an engineer as well. I was working with an organization as a network engineer. There are some aspects which I experienced from a people perspective in my organization, which motivated me to pursue a program of this nature. So that's the talking point that should come through in an interview, and there would definitely be some kind of a trigger in your experience as well, which would have motivated you to pursue this wholeheartedly. So try to bring out that story genuinely, and it definitely helps. So do not think about competition, and think that your experience is unique and you are the hero of your own experience. So that would definitely.
I would take one doubt. There is a doubt that, sir, I have gap before 12th. So maybe after 10th, a person has gap. Okay. So last year, there was a student who had a similar gap of 1 year because of some health issue or some other issue. He was not able to follow the thing. Okay. So he was selected. Actually, they are not going to take that very seriously. They are not IIMs that you have to score threshold marks and you have to be regular. There should not be any gap or something. They want diversity. They will give you opportunity. And one more question is, does the placement happens with the government? So I think most of the placement will happen with the corporate. I think Akcchit, you can take this question.
Yes, sir. I was just answering that on the chat. So as you rightly said, there is no placement that we have with the PSUs or any government agencies. So yeah, that's about it. But however, I think HR still has 2 or 3 PSUs that hire from directly from the HR course, but nothing of that sort for ODCL. All are private organizations.
There is one more question. What is the ratio of people qualifying TISS net round and people qualifying the final thing? It is not revealed. So nobody knows that. There is another question which says that, sir, doing certifications and things, will it help? So what I can say from my experience, see, these are not very important, I would say, but having those things is going to help you in another way to understand the subject better.
I
Yeah.
think there were a few questions about the job. Basically, there was one question about the startup. So
Yeah.
that whether that is, so basically if the startup is registered, it is counted as a valid experience. Similarly, there was a question about a research associate in an NGO. Again, if the NGO is registered, then your experience will be counted. For the payslip, like you probably need the payslip, but if the bank statements are available, that will work as well, along with the joining letter, the experience letter. So that's there. And I think another related question was that does the job background matter? Which is something that I wanted to answer. So I think that it is more about how you make of it, how many concepts, like for example, they really look for if you're able to map some sort of a concept to your practical, like you look back into your work ex and then map your work ex into these concepts. So they really look for that. So it's more about how you shape your work ex and how what are the learnings that one can bring from your own work ex. And I think that the course itself, like being so unique, is that because we all have work ex, so we're really able to appreciate all the concepts because we've all faced somewhat similar experiences in the past.
So I don't have payslip, but have experience.
Yes, sir. Also, I think if it's just about the timing that, you're not able to get it on time, I think the administration is very supportive in that case. Even if you have an experience letter, I think it would work for time's sake and you can deposit these things later. I mean, if there is one thing that is missing, it can be submitted later. So it's very supportive in that sense.
There is a question, is relieving letter important? So I think that documentation will happen in the month of September, August, September, it will happen. Okay. So if you are working right now, you don't have relieving letter, that's fine. Okay, you can have during that period. But is a relieving letter, a formal letter should be there where you have this much month of experience. That is in a way a relieving letter only if you are leaving that organization. Ashish, you were asking something?
सर मैं वही छवि मैम से पूछना चाह रहा था, वही जो क्वेश्चन था उसी को मतलब और मैं एक्सप्लेन करने का था कि क्योंकि लास्ट टाइम मैंने भी दिया था तो वो लोग उस पॉइंट पे काफी जो जोर देते हैं ना कि मतलब
why you are leaving the government job, why you are leaving the government job,
कि तुम उसको ही क्यों नहीं और आगे कर सकते हो। जैसे मैम से भी शायद ऐसा बोला हो कि आप उसी में और फर्दर क्यों नहीं आगे करते हैं। तो मैं उसी को चाह रहा था कि किस तरीके से उसको मैनेज करना चाहिए उस क्वेश्चन को।
So the answer should be, I have this potential that I can do better in this field. Okay, you don't have to bitch your current job. गुस्सा मत दिखाओ उस पे. Okay, rather you have to appreciate that you have learned something, learned some insight, and now you know that you have all those attributes to become a good OD professional, and then try appreciating the OD thing. Okay, that is the way to say.
Okay, sir.
You can say that your potential can be better utilized. You have so many attributes and that thing. Okay. So I think we have taken the questions. Yeah. So we had our session and it was a very good session. It was interactive also. And there was a lot of insight. So now I will stop this session and thank you all. Thank you, Ashwin, Chhavi, Akcchit, Megha, and David for coming. And thank you also AART team, Sunil especially and Gayatri, because they were the ones who managed everything. Okay, so thank you all for coming and taking your time for us.